Hi everyone, my name is Shauna. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through my March TBR. So I'm actually going to start with my book club books. So the first one is my real life book club with a group of friends. We are reading The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is a fairly hefty book. It's been on my TBR shelf now for a really long time. It's been daunting. Well, because of the size, but also just because of, I think, the hype for me. Like, I just don't know that this book is going to live up to the amount of hype that surrounds it in the booktube community, the book talk community, the bookish world. So yeah, I'm finally reading it though. We have 2 months, so we have all of March, and then we're going to meet in April to talk about it. I'm currently about 175 pages in. And genuinely, I am actually loving it. It is really, really good. It is super entertaining. The pacing is just right. The characters are really good. It's kind of blowing me away that I'm only 175 pages in, and that is like maybe 20%. And I'm continuously just loving it, and I'm looking forward to reading more of it this weekend. But also, I did buy the prequel just because I have been loving it so much. So I'm very surprised at how much I'm enjoying this, and I feel bad that I put this off for so long. But if you don't know what Priory of the Orange Tree is about, it is a magical fantasy land. There is queendoms, there are dragons, there are sapphic relationships. I'm so excited. But yeah, it is essentially a fight against chaos, which is the dragons, but there are kind of two sides, the east and the west. I'm not going to go into a huge synopsis. I feel like this book is talked about so often. But yeah, I'm currently reading this for my book club in real life. The other one is kind of a book club. It's the buzzwordathon by Books and Lala. So the book this for March is reading a book with a character's name in the title. So I am reading The Secret Book of Floralia by Patty Callahan Henry. It is kind of set after or like around World War II in 1939, 1940s. There are a pair of sisters who escape London to live with a different family in like a rural village. One of the sisters goes missing as a kid, but essentially the sister had shared with her a magical world. They had always, kind of supported one another, been with each other. And then years and years and years later, this sister then finds a book written about this magical world. So it's kind of pointing to, did her sister really vanish? Is she still alive? What happened? Did she maybe tell someone before she maybe died? Like, we don't know. So it's, I'm pretty excited about this one. I actually just got this book as a gift from my aunt. So it was not on my radar, but it works perfectly for buzzwordathon. Additionally, these are not for book clubs anymore. I should say these are just like my personal picks for March. I'm a bit of a mood reader. I never really know until I'm in that month, kind of time-wise for work, personal stuff going on, travel. So I'm never like 100% sure, but I like to give myself a few options. So I have Pure Color by Sheila Heti. I won't even attempt to describe this book. It is so bizarre. I will read one part of the synopsis just so it's really clear how unclear this book is. Pure Color tells the story of a life from beginning to end. It is a galaxy of a novel. Explosive, celestially bright, huge, and streaked with beauty. It is a contemporary Bible, an atlas of feeling, and a shape-shifting epic. Sheila Heti is a philosopher of modern experience, and she has reimagined what a book can hold. Not a clue what this is going to be, but very excited. It's also a short option, so I'm pretty excited. I have read Motherhood by this author, and I actually really liked it. It was pretty surprising to me as someone who, motherhood is not on my scale. It is not in my realm, my wheelhouse. I am not a mom. I do not plan on being one, but Motherhood was really, really good. So I am excited to read another book by this author. For my nonfiction pick, as I mentioned in my 2024 reading goals video, which I will leave linked here, I talk about wanting to read a lot more nonfiction by BIPOC authors as well as 2S LGBTQIA+ authors. So for that, I have True Reconciliation: How to Be a Force for Change by Jody Wilson-Rayblade. I am really, really excited about this. I will read the synopsis just kind of on the back here because I think it's really beautiful. So what comes next? When this story is told again in 5 years or 10 years or 50 years, whose voices should we hear? And what should they be saying? I firmly believe that this story will increasingly be our story of change that is increasingly advanced together with increasingly common visions and goals, of things that reflects not only true reconciliation, but a revitalized vision of Canada. And the predominant voices in the story will be the Canadians from all walks of life and backgrounds expressing how they asked what they could do and came to understand what action they can take, and illustrating how they acted and had an impact. Will your voice be a part of that story? So I'm really excited for this book. This is my first time reading a book by this author, but it has been recommended to me by a lot of folks that I work with, so I'm really excited to pick this one up. Next, I have a continuation of a series. So this is the Letters of Enchantment duology by Rebecca Ross. So the second book is Ruthless Vows. I read Divine Rivals in January, in February. And it was fabulous. I absolutely loved it. Rebecca Ross kind of has a place in my heart. She essentially is one of my favorite authors of all time. I read her Elements of Cadence series in 2023, and it was my favorite book series of the whole year. For context, I rated 3 books 5 stars in 2023. 2 of them were Rebecca Ross's. So yeah, she is like an ultimate for me. I'm really excited to read this book and finish off another duology by her. And I do have another book of hers on my TBR just because I'm like, if I don't have her on hand, I am scared. I need to read everything she's written. Really, really beautiful writer. And so, yeah, sorry, for the context, this is a second book, so I'm not going to read the synopsis just in case it kind of spoils you if you're on the first one. But Divine Rivals is essentially a pair of journalists who are kind of set in Second World War, I guess, era. But in this case, this world is slightly fantastical, so there are elements of like fantasy mixed in with kind of this historical war time. And they're rivals, they come together. Maybe they don't, maybe they do. You get the idea. Will they, won't they? But it was really good, and I'm excited for the second book. Last physical book that I have is The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is, like I said, part of my reading goals. I want to read the Lord of the Rings series. I read The Hobbit in January, and I want to read at least a book every couple months so I can chip away at this series. They're fairly big books, but they are classic fantasy, so I think I'm going to have a really good time with this book. I'm not going to get into this, but I will read just kind of the synopsis because it's very small. In a sleepy village in the Shire, a young hobbit is entrusted with an immense task. He must make a perilous journey across Middle-earth to the cracks of doom, there to destroy the ruling ring of power and the only thing that prevents the Dark Lord's evil dominion. And so, yeah, this is the sort of beginning part of this. The Hobbit is like a prequel. You get introduced to Bilbo Baggins, but now the story kind of begins. So I'm excited for it. Like I said, it's a goal of mine to read that series, so I really want to prioritize it. Next, I'm going to talk about an ebook that I have, which is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I'll just show the cover that I have. It's not really that entertaining, but anyways, it's on my e-reader, and I plan to read it in March. I do not have the synopsis on there, so I'll read it from my phone. We have always lived in the castle. Shirley Jackson's beloved Gothic tale of a peculiar girl named Maricat and her family's dark secret, taking readers deep into a labyrinth of dark neurosis. We Have Always Lived in the Castle is a deliciously unsettling novel about a perverse, isolated, and possibly murderous family, and the struggle that ensues when a cousin arrives at their estate. So yeah, I'm actually really excited for this. I got a really good deal on it when Kobo was having a deal on this book, so I'm pretty excited to read it. I think it's going to be a short book. That's about 160 pages, but I think it's going to be really, really entertaining. And the last book I'll mention is just on my Libby. It's by Kevin Wilson. It is Now Is Not the Time to Panic, which again, I do not have the synopsis for, so I will just look it up on my phone, which says, from the New York Times bestselling author of Nothing to See Here, which is a book that I haven't read, but it is on my list to read. I am really looking forward to it. This book comes a big-hearted novel about two teenage misfits who spectacularly collide one fateful summer and the art they make that changes their lives forever. I'm not going to get into it too much, but there's a bold coming-of-age story written by Kevin Wilson's trademark wit and blazing prose. Now is not the time to panic is a nuanced exploration of young love, identity, and the power of art. It's also about the secrets that haunt us and ultimately what the truth will do to set us free. That kind of thing. So yeah, I'm really excited. I feel like I have a really good spread of books. Some short, some obviously much longer that I'm just going to chip away at it. Most likely I'll probably be taking The Priory of the Orange Tree into April, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how much time we have. But yeah, this is my March TBR. I hope you liked the video and stick around. See you again later.